Hi everyone, it's Georgie here from the Marine Discovery Centre, just taking you on a bit of a tour of one of our models here at the centre. This is our marine habitat table, so this allows us to explore lots of different kinds of marine coastal habitats. And on the sides of the table we can also start to explore the kinds of plants and animals that live in each of these places. So we have our intertidal habitat, our sandy shores habitat, and our rocky shores habitat. So here in our rocky shores habitat, this is where we would have rocky reefs, seaweeds, and places which are always covered in water. So in some of these places, we might find things like Port Jackson shark eggs, which can be wedged between rocks by the mother to protect her baby shark inside. We find lots of mussel shells, so these will live in little colonies on top of the rocks. They're able to actually attach themselves to rocks using fine little hairs that come out of their shells. Now, if you are in any of these sorts of places, rock pools, you might like to go looking for some animals under the rocks, and we do always ask that we replace rocks whenever we do lift them up. However, if you are here, just make sure that you never lift rocks from underneath, that we always lift rocks from the top, because we can find some deadly animals here as well. Underneath here we have our very tiny but very deadly and venomous blue-ringed octopus who will flash their blue rings when they become angry. Next we have our sandy shores habitat. So this would include a lot of our metropolitan beaches, our swimming beaches, and there's not a lot of places for animals to hide, so many of the things we find on sandy shores are left over from dead plants and animals. So that might include lots of snail shells. We have our fibre balls, which are made by seagrass leaves rolled around in the waves. You can find lots of cuttle bones. We can find things like sea sponges, razor shells, and other snail shells. Now, the live animals that we do find in sandy shore habitats will live under the sand, as there's not a lot of places for them to hide. Things like cockles and sand snails will burrow themselves through the sand, looking for food and looking for shelter. So these are the trails that you might see through the wet sand as you go for a walk along the beach. Our last habitat is our intertidal habitat. So this is actually a very extreme place to live, and that's because it can be completely covered in water at high tide, or it can be completely dry at low tide. So all of the animals and the plants living in these sorts of habitats have to have really special adaptations to be able to survive here. So for example, animals such as sea stars and sea urchins might be looking for pools of water or follow the tide as the tide retreats by using their tiny tube feet under their bodies to walk and find the moisture and find the water. Other animals which are not able to move, such as oysters and barnacles, so these will attach themselves to rocks, and because they can't move out of dry situations, what they'll actually do is close their shells, or in the instance of the barnacles, they'll cover some plates over the top part of their shells, and this will actually help them to conserve moisture, and that can survive in these extreme environments. So this just showcases all of the different adaptations that many animals have to live and to be suited to their environment. And why don't you try and explore some other deeper ocean habitats, such as the deep ocean, seagrass meadows, or seaweeds. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.